Joke's on you, baby. This week, for All That Film, we're reviewing and spoiling, full spoilers on Birds of Prey. You can check out these reviews and tons of different other spoiler stuff on YouTube. But we'll just get right into it. I'm joined today. I'm your host, Hey. And we're joined by Margot, Hannah, Lindsay, and Theo. We got the gang assembled to talk about this fun
Voltron.
film. Yeah, the Voltron of All That Film. Sure. Which body part are you, Theo?
I'm the pelvis.
Oh, nice.
I don't think that's one of them. I think the two legs make up the pelvis.
We'll give Theo the pelvis.
Hey.
He's really the thick tuchus of All That Film.
Yes.
But Margot, I'll let you go first. Just general thoughts on Birds of Prey, and I guess we can just sort of bounce around on this, just to start off with review thoughts.
All right. Well, what everyone's waiting for. Movie good.
Oh, yes.
Movie very good. I had like a smile on my face the whole time. It's such a grand old time. I want to take everyone I know to go see this movie. It's so fun.
And then Hannah, what are general thoughts from you?
Yeah, this movie's like my jam. And the more I think about it, it almost kind of feels like a fever dream because I can't believe that like a big studio is like yes onto this movie because it's so like wacky and like weird and out there and like so like not like in like the box for like blockbusters, especially like a female-led blockbuster, which is like even more like, you know, crazy to think about. I'm just so happy this movie exists, and I can't wait to see it a million more times.
Sure, yeah. You're gonna see a trend for this, so I'm sorry for people that aren't really meshing well with this movie. I think all five of us walked away from Birds of Prey really enjoying it.
Yes.
And of course, just to say the full title, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, of course. But yeah, no, the biggest thing for me that like I walk away from Birds of Prey is just Kathy Yan and the rest of this team. It's just such a confident project, and it really knows what it wants to be. And it really just has fun the whole ride throughout with that type of concept. And I think that's the biggest thing walking away from this, because Hannah obviously mentioned, oh yeah, a big studio was just like, hey, screw it. People like Harley Quinn. We can do whatever we want, like, and taking those risks. And I'll get more into this when we talk spoiler stuff, but I actually do think this is the marking point, and I could be wrong. This could very much bite me in the butt later. I think this is the marking point where DC overtakes Marvel in terms of what they're making comic book movie-wise. And Black Widow could be great, and I could live to regret this, but comparing their past three projects, I actually would lean to DC at the moment. But Lindsay, general thoughts?
General thoughts. I loved it so much. I don't know about taking over the MCU, but that's interesting. Do you think it's because it's like rated R so it can have more fun?
Okay, to be a little bit clearer, I just mean like I think they're on a trend to overtake the MCU, and I think this is like, oh hey, we're gonna do it. And like if I were investing in Warner Bros, I guess I would feel confident about that. But yeah, no, I think it's also just because when they initially set out with things like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, it seemed very much like they were trying to imitate the success of the MCU in like a darker tone, and keeping all their movies to be the same. And they really didn't have that many movies. But Shazam, Joker, and Birds of Prey, even if you don't like those films, they're all very distinctive, which is like huge for me. But
no,
sorry.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, this didn't feel like any other superhero. I mean, I heard it compared to Deadpool. I personally thought this worked a lot better than Deadpool. I do like Deadpool, but
it kind of reminded me of Spider-Verse, just how fun it was.
Yeah.
I can see that
totally.
Too.
And
it was having fun with
same
colors.
Music guy.
Yeah, the style is amazing.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think Deadpool also has the benefit of being the first rated R comedy movie.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
I think any rated R superhero movie is always going to get compared to it.
Yep, that's super fair.
And the only thing
I
was
just
gonna
meant like
throw
with the
out,
fourth wall breaking kind of stuff, and
oh, for sure, yeah. I just have you like if you've gone back to Deadpool, it doesn't hold up as well. I think it was more like the shock of that happening.
Mhm.
Because I actually like
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 a little bit better, even. But
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Deadpool
no, that's
2,
fair.
I would agree. Like the best parts of Deadpool 2 were the parts that I think Birds of Prey really utilized. So for example, the the airdrop sequence in Deadpool 2 felt like something that could have been seen in Birds of Prey, you know?
for
Yeah,
sure,
totally.
Yeah. And
Like,
like the
a
whole
great
domino
example.
sequence.
Character, just like build her up, and then when they deploy, she just immediately dies. You're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's like, but yeah.
Oh,
Anyways, I really like Birds of Prey. It's interesting because I think this is a movie that, like, what are its predecessors that it can immediately be compared to? Um, I think a lot of people seem to be comparing it to Joker, which I think to me doesn't quite make sense just because they're such different movies that I was
for
like,
sure.
oh, like I think this is way closer to Suicide Squad, and like
Yeah.
maybe
Like
people
if
are
Suicide
just-
Squad had been done well.
yes, absolutely agreed. And in
That's
that
what I kept
sense,
thinking about.
right?
I was like, this is such a like, hey, this is what you could have done with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Pays homage to David Ayer's movie though, like in a weird way. Like this
That's what I
movie
was-
completely like kind of respects it in some weird way because they keep a lot of the stuff that happens in Suicide Squad, but they just kind of
Yeah.
make it better. Like
And
Yeah.
it doesn't do it in like an off to the side way either. I was very
Yeah.
surprised with that because I thought they were gonna yada yada like, oh, Joker, right? But no, I'm glad they didn't really like show his face because I don't think you can show Jared Leto because he's over it.
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
And
Because the movie
Ayer's-
is definitely like Harley Quinn, like it says it in the title that it's like the emancipation of like Harley Quinn and everyone, but like still like because I've heard a lot of people, even like my sister and my brother, are both like, oh, I kind of wish Joker's in it, and I'm like, well, that would kind of defeat the purpose of the whole movie in
For
my
sure.
opinion, at least.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
think
completely agree with you.
it's interesting you mentioned that, Hannah. I was just gonna throw out Ayer is still a producer for this project.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I think he
I
said
don't like
he's
this
like,
movie, but good.
Yeah.
For him.
I think he said publicly, like even James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad, he's like, hey, we made a movie. Not everybody loved it. That's okay. Like he's very much not like too harsh on himself.
That's good. I'm happy that he's not beating himself up about it because everyone keeps beating him up for it. So
Yeah, for sure. Also, one other thing I wanted to throw out because I was looking through the whole entire cast list. The person that wrote Bumblebee, Christina Hudson, wrote this, and she's doing. And the only reason I'm excited for these now, I guess, is she's doing the screenplay for The Flash, which probably has 20 people that have looked or tried to make a screenplay
Yeah,
for
seriously,
that.
when is that happening?
Oh, man.
It's still listed for 2022.
There's
Apparently,
no way.
I think Ezra Miller will will that movie into existence somehow. But the
I
other
think
one
Andy
is
Muschietti has like been attached. Has been like the longest director attached to it now, though. No. Because like
yeah,
the director, whenever it's had a director attached to it, like lasts for like a month, and they're like, "Nah, I'm good, bye."
yeah. But she's also writing a Batgirl, which obviously like Joss Whedon was directing, and then they were like, "Huh, wait, maybe we should rethink this." So that interests me a little bit.
Poor Joss Whedon.
Daniel
You said
Pemberton.
poor Joss Whedon.
Yes. Daniel Pemberton fucking killed it.
His name into existence. Of course, look, obviously Spider-Verse, yeah, some of his best work,
Ocean's
but
8.
we can't overlook King Arthur, Legend of the Sword either.
Oh my god.
It has a
That was a
decent
masterpiece.
score. Oh, man.
Wait, did you guys like the score for this movie? I feel like the score was very like, I don't know. I didn't even notice it. I like only thought of the soundtrack, and when I did like hear score throughout the movie, I was like, oh, that's weird. Like the third time that I seen it, I was like, oh, I forgot this is a movie. It has a score.
Might stick out more like on a second watch, but I think it blends into the soundtrack like seamlessly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't notice
I just
it.
wish it had more of a presence, I guess. I don't know. I'm like
Sure.
used to like watching a movie, like the Marvel movies at least. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the scores are forgettable. But like whenever like I watch a superhero movie, like Marvel in particular, I guess that I'm just really taken with the scores a lot of the time. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, they're boring. So yeah, I don't know. I just
Definitely
wish it
get
had
that.
more of a presence.
I think the one thing I would throw out, and I actually don't know the extent of this, but I know he did this on Spider-Verse, is I'm pretty sure Pemberton, he edits the original songs as well to make them fit into like a movie moment. I'm not saying that like that affects the score, because obviously like their original, they were separate songs to begin with, but I don't know. I can see that.
I really
I
liked
haven't
the
seen it in a second.
soundtrack.
Yeah, no,
The
I
soundtrack
was
is
listening to
solid.
it when I drove home. The soundtrack goes
Yeah,
hard.
it
Oh
was
yeah,
too.
same.
It bothered me in one part of the movie though.
It did to me too.
I don't
And
know if we're thinking the same part. It's the part where Cassandra's walking down the street. That's the only time.
disagree. Oh no, we're gonna.
Oh my god, yeah. When Sway With Me came on, when Cassandra is walking down the street, that is the only part that the soundtrack took me
Interesting.
out of the movie. It felt like it was like there for like 1 second and then gone the next, and I was like, you guys didn't let it play long enough, and it felt weird. I don't know. It didn't mesh with me.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm a big fan of the Diamond song.
Oh yeah, I wish that was like in the movie. That's like in the credits.
Yeah. I just meant like I just like sitting there after like experiencing it and that coming on, I was like, oh yes.
Yes.
I guess before we hit grades, what is everyone's best girl from this movie? Margot, who's your fave?
Oh god, you're gonna make me choose?
I can go first if you
no,
want.
no. I'll go first. I think I have to go with Margot Robbie because we have the same name.
That's fair. That's fair. You gotta
Like, she's my
rep Team
only
Margot.
solace that people will know how to pronounce my name correctly and not say Margot. Because like Margot Robbie's famous now.
Very nice. Hannah, who's your favorite?
I'm probably gonna have to go with Margot too. It's her movie, so it's like hard not to be like taken away with Harley the whole time and be like, yeah, she's my favorite. But I also loved Huntress, and I loved everyone.
Yeah, no, all of them really are. Like, it is really a stellar cast. And with that said, I think I'm Cass, Team Cass, and I'll talk more about why I think that character is so vital to this movie. But I just found her character really integral to the story. But Lindsay, I think you're Team Margot, if I recall.
Well,
second
we've
viewing
already
has
talked
changed
about
you?
her, so I really, really like Black Canary, like so much. I also love Huntress because she's hilarious, but I wish that she had more to do. But Black Canary, man, I feel like she was such an important character, and she was just so badass. And I just loved
I've never
her.
seen that actress in it. Have you seen her before? Journey
I don't
Smollett
think
Bell?
so.
She's
Yeah,
done
I would-
a lot of stuff. I
That-
know
see, I
that
saw,
she's
like,
done a lot of
multiple
stuff, but I
credits.
haven't seen any of it.
She was in that Hands of Stone movie, and like a ton of TV shows. But yeah, no, she was great.
She was
But-
so good.
Theo, round us out. Who you picking?
I
here?
also gotta go with Canary because I don't know. I just felt like she felt like a very like she felt like a character that's kind of a glue for other characters, but without ever feeling like she was sidelined, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I felt like she never I mean, obviously all of them are very like flashy in their own ways, but if you had to compare her to some of the other ones, I think she has like just the perfect amount of like flashiness to her, while also just like being able to take a step back and like letting other characters shine, but like also having, I think, a fully developed arc, which I really liked.
Nice. And then I guess we'll hit grades. Margot, what are you gonna give this film out of 10?
I think a 9.5.
Nice. Whoa. Awesome. I saw your review in like the most recent Letterboxd things, and I was like, oh, sick. Just because I was worried when I will touch on this a little bit more. Hannah, what was your score?
I always feel like a dummy whenever I say this because every time I come on here, I'm always like, "Oh, I love this movie so much," but I feel like every time I do spoiler discussions, it's always about a movie that I love so much. So 10 out of 10 is my score, but I always feel like a dummy whenever I say it because I feel like I always I think people always think that I'm overhyping things, but I genuinely just love the movies that I'm talking about on here so much.
I mean, in fairness, I think what happens, like, I guess to back that up, is like you typically like send a message when like you're excited about something. So like you're not gonna, I don't know. That's the whole point of like doing reviews and stuff. Like you want to talk about like great stuff about something. So you're not gonna be like, "Oh, I hated It Chapter 2. I can't wait to talk about it." Which obviously you loved. But Lindsay, what is your score?
I went with a 9 out of 10. I really, really liked it.
Nice. Wow. Theo, what is your score out of 10 or out of 4 or whatever?
I think I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna give this movie a recommend with a smiley emoji. Because it is really, really fun, and irrespective of any score, I think it should definitely be seen because like I really would like to see more movies like this.
Nice. And I don't do scores anymore. I'd probably lean towards like a low 8, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to see it again and really like experience the fun. I didn't have that packed of a theater either, which I was a little disappointed in. Come on, film sisses and film bros, show out to the Thursday showings. But yeah, no, it's a pretty great time. I can't remember the movie schedule for the year. But I'd imagine this is not going to get dethroned for best movie out of our host ratings for a while, because I can't think of one.
Sonic is coming out.
That's true. Oh,
Sonic
okay.
is coming.
I'm actually really excited to see Sonic.
I'm so excited.
I'm worried it's going to be a bland movie instead of a
seeing it, I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, that'll do it for the review section. So I will go full into spoilers now. What I guess? Because me and Hannah had mentioned it. The soundtrack parts that didn't work for you. Obviously, you mentioned the cast scene. It took me out of the movie when I was hearing like a slow, like dramatic